Mm. The band is back together again. Is he doing a pose?
He's doing the pose.
What what noble pose is this? Rob, are you
Hold up.
practicing for Trump's
I
birthday parade? Is that what
I
you're
gotta feel
practicing for,
like
Rob?
I gotta feel like I'm a part of this show with Rob. Hold on, let me get my glasses on.
Oh God! Did he just disappear?
Yeah. Can you
I'm
hear me?
back. It's magic.
Can you
Magic.
Oh,
hear me right?
now we have to have a behind the scenes and know how you did that.
Magician never gives his tricks away, okay? Magician never
Oh,
tells.
until unless you charge it, where'd he go?
He just
He just ran up.
he just fell out completely.
God damn it!
Speaking of
Well, I guess
magic,
he.
I made him disappear.
Now, if you can make him reappear, I don't know. Some people might not want you to make him reappear.
Ah,
Front Row Wrestling Rock Podcast. I am Mr. KS. That is Chris. Rob is back. There he goes. Right on cue. Like you
I,
on cue tonight.
I was in slow motion. I think I damaged the camera with my aura.
uh-oh.
Oh God.
How's it going, guys?
How does that work? How do you damage your camera with the aura?
The glow. Bad things can
Well,
happen.
well,
It's like
you missed it.
the sun. It's like one of those corona mass ejections.
God, don't even get him started. You missed the WrestleMania review last week, so
I
before we
did.
get into
So,
every,
did I
before
win?
we get in,
No.
no, you did not win.
If
Look,
Otis had come out and done the worm though, you would have beat us.
That's the only reason. I feel it was screwed over in the Grande Americano versus Ray Phoenix match because I don't even think I picked a winner for that. I said it was going to be Ray,
well, you were wrong.
but I wasn't right. I was right, but I wasn't wrong.
Well,
I
Ray
was
did wrestle him.
Yeah, he wrestled Ray Phoenix.
Ray
You just picked
Phoenix,
the
yeah, but
you just picked the wrong Ray.
you're going to be like, you're going to do me dirty like that, right, guys? After all we've been through.
Come on, man. You gotta expect that one. I'm the voice of reason. That makes
Yeah.
reasonable sense. You picked the wrong way, but no,
Look,
you did pretty good. You called some stuff I wouldn't go, quite go.
and I'm
Go
glad
with.
you're here this week because I had to play your role last week. I mean, that's a tough thing to do.
Being the sexiest in the room.
I did that
Look,
well, but I mean,
no,
it's
second
it's the
sexiest.
rest of it. It's the
Everybody,
rest of it I had trouble with.
look, y'all don't want me to put the poll up of who's sexiest on the show. Y'all don't want to put that poll up. I'm just saying. If I put it up, y'all, I would win by a landslide.
Last time we did a
Oh Lord,
poll,
you
we
with the
won
crickets. Here
too.
we go. I mean, I can make it happen. I can put a poll up.
We put a
Never we
poll
did.
up.
I,
If you put a
I tell you,
like,
a lot of
there's
guys
only
will vote
one
for Rob.
way.
Though,
There's only
yeah.
one way I'm going for this. Okay. Once you
What's
put your
that?
poll up and it's done, you have to follow it up with the poll of who has the shiniest head.
Well, I always wear a hat, so when nobody would know if my head was shiny or not. So.
This
I
is white.
usually do.
White
I
is
used to
shinier than
too.
your tan head. This is shinier than your tan head.
I got the glare of the light though, it working in my favor.
Ridiculous.
Are we talking wrestling or what? I mean,
I
come
mean, do
on.
you want to do? I don't know. If you talk wrestling, you might get released. I don't know. And hello,
Ah,
everybody in the chat. I'm just now seeing the chat, so my bad. Hello, what's going on, people?
Yeah, I'm not a
Yeah,
big NXT. I'm not a big NXT watcher. I like it when they show up. And then I get interested in them. But I don't watch NXT. And so when I honestly, there was a lot of those names I didn't even know who they were. To be honest with you.
well, three of them were in one fashion galas, so I don't think they've been on TV for a while. Or Mensa, he was in Metaphor with Jakar Jackson.
Yeah.
They
The
were
only
doing something. I don't know. Eddie Thorpe. I thought I'm not surprised, but I kind of am because he was just on the pay per view. I mean, whatever they call
yeah.
it down in NXT. So he was in a North American title picture. So and then Cora Jade, I thought she was doing something, but I guess not.
Yeah, yeah. There's only one out of that whole list of people. I mean, there's probably I don't even know if there's a few that I could say I would like argue. The only one I think was a mistake is just because of this pure he's an attraction, dude. Braun Strowman. I think him.
Dude,
I
he's
think
been fired like 5 times already. This is like his 5th time being fired.
Yeah, I just think he needs a. I think he needs a. He's big, he's strong, he's a spectacle, he's an attraction. He
can't stop getting hurt, bro. He can't stop getting hurt.
So he's hurt. That's why he
like
got released.
He'll well, I mean, he just came back from injury, but like he did before he got injured this last time, he was only back for like maybe 3 months.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Braun Strowman's, to be honest, when he first showed up. As part of the Wyatts, he kind of fit in, and then when he went solo, I kind of felt like he was kind of pushed. Like, I don't want to say prematurely. I just didn't really enjoy the way it was booked.
I don't think I think he did too. He did too much. He
was too sad.
He tried to. I think that run around in the ring thing didn't kind of old. I mean, it caught on, but then it didn't. But it got older. Nobody, like this big dude.
And then he got taken by Braun Breaker.
Yeah, Braun Breaker beat his ass.
Yeah, I mean, and they, Jacob Fatu.
I'm about to say, yeah, he beat his ass too. So
bad. He beat him like bad, and he never actually got over on Bronson Reed. Well, he kind of did, but.
I mean, I think they're going for you don't need because they got almost. So I mean, he ain't been on TV in God knows how long. I mean, but if you're going to use it, he might at least almost ain't never hurt because I don't remember the last time I heard anything about him being hurt. He's just been out doing other stuff. So
yeah,
maybe
I don't know. I went to a house show. The first house show I ever saw was the main event was Triple H and Triple H and the Undertaker versus I think it was Big Show and Ezekiel Jackson. And one of the main reasons, I mean, I wanted to go to the show. Obviously, I'd never been to a WWE show before, but part of the reason I wanted to go is I was like, man, Paul's going to be here, dude. The Big Show, probably the biggest wrestler, going around. And I'm like, dude, I got to see him. I want to be I want to be in his presence, I think that's what I mean. Kind of like Andre the Giant kind of thing, the spectacle of just seeing somebody who's an attraction, even though they may not do it 100% in the ring, but he's still a presence.
Right. I mean, they kind of use him as a giant, and he was a presence, because like you said, everything got, people kept beating him.
Yeah,
I guess the mystique kind of wore off. So yeah, I mean, but again, like I said, he's been fired 3 times, but 5 times. So.
Yeah.
Are you surprised by Shayna Baszler?
I really wasn't.
Not so much anymore. No,
I just really.
I gotta cut my camera. I gotta put my eye drops in, so I'm just cutting my camera off of that.
Yeah, her highest. Moment was when she beat Rousey, kind of passing that torch as the badass, and it went nowhere. It's kind of like a Queen of the Ring or something, oh, it's a big opportunity, but it's like then all of a sudden it just floundered, and she went right back to mid card, and then to group her with everybody knows she's like lesbian, so then to put her in a box with other known lesbians, it's like it was like just to me. I don't know. I mean, I like
it was a point where people. I've seen this the other day. I mean, not the other day, but the day where people was saying like, how do you have these people on the roster and not have anything for them? Don't know what to do with them. I mean, sometimes you just don't know what to do with people, bro. It's not a bad thing. It's just like this current group of people don't know what to write for you.
Well, what did they? I mean, who was out there that she could really have a good, match with at this point?
I don't even think
people would have interest in.
I don't think it's so much her having matches. It's so much like finding a story for her. You know what I'm saying? It's finding a direction for her. They don't like.
Well,
what do you know about besides her MMA background? As Rob pointed out, she's a lesbian. What do you know about Shayna Baszler?
In your opinion, what would you do with her if you kept her, though? If you kept her on the show, how would you use her?
By comparison, she would be, and I'm going back to WCW with this, she would be my version of a Ultimo Dragon, of a Ray, not a Ray Mysterio, but an Ultimo Dragon. What's the other guy Sonny Ono had? The Japanese guy. The king, like he always came and took a picture with this guy. He had the little Power Ranger vest thing. I can't remember his name, but she would be like that version, almost like a Glacier, but not the character Glacier, just like the. But I guess that's what I'm saying. You don't know anything about her. I don't know exactly what character, but as far as in ring, I would make her like that. But I don't know what to do with it because I don't know anything about her.
Well,
Outside the fact that she's a lesbian and she got MMA.
Of that Pure Fusion Collective, Sonya Deville departed a while back, and now Shayna Baszler is Zoe Stark still hanging on.
And Zoe
She's
Stark's
still there.
there.
She's still there. And I guess they're going to find out. I mean,
You know,
these people have no character.
Yeah, I think when they put her with Trish, you know, that was a push they gave her, and then they threw her in the box, literally, like, you know, they like basically, you know, I don't know if Zoe Stark's gay or not, but they put her with two other gay people that were openly.
She's married.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, but to the common fan who doesn't know that, they're going, oh, like they're all three blah blah blahs, you know, and it just kind of put her, like I said, literally and figuratively in a box, you know.
Dakota Kai's gone too, and that's the thing. Like,
well, Dakota Kai, and that's kind of funny, you know. Say Shayna and Dakota were like, weren't they together?
They kind of were.
Which I'm gonna say, once I heard that dude when they had wrestling matches, made them very awkward for me.
I don't know if that was a rumor or if that was true. I never really tried to.
Yeah, I think it was true. I think it was true because like there was some pictures, and then you know, basically saying it was true, and then they almost immediately started, like, you know, Dakota had been gone for a while and she came back, and then they were immediately, like, not in a program together, but they were having matches on TV together.
I mean, that's like her Dakota Kai. She kept getting hurt too. And but Chris, you're more of the old. I mean, I'm old. We all old school fans, but Chris loves old school, right? And sometimes the booker or the producer or whoever is running the creative, they can give you a character, but sometimes you gotta come with something to spark an idea of a character. You know what I'm saying?
You got to make it come to life. They can give you something.
You gotta have something. You gotta have something to, like, what is it about you that's gonna make me put you on TV and people believe in you or follow you or connect with you or anything? Like,
like if you would have put any other big fat dude like in a polka dot outfit and like told him to go out there and be the son of a plumber, would he have done as good as Dusty Rhodes ever? Anybody?
Nobody on earth would have did that besides Dusty. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be. It's two ways you can approach this. You got to be able to take what they give you and make something out of it, or bring something to them they can make something out of. And if you can't do either one of those, you're just another body. And I don't why pay all these people when I got 150 people. Like, I only got a 3-hour show.
Yeah. You got to work. And sometimes, I mean, there's nothing wrong with hard work, but if you got to work that hard to make something work and it's not working, then what's it worth it? You know.
And some people will say, "Well, we'll send them back to NXT." Okay, that sounds good, but then how does that affect the people you already got down there that you're trying to get together and bring up? Like, you want to take this person off the main roster, so they're gonna have a spotlight on them, but you're trying to bring another person up and give them a spotlight and show what they got so they can make it to the main roster. Sometimes that works, sometimes that clashes. So just you can send them back to NXT.
Okay. I'm more of the opinion it's like, you know, you have a cast of a TV show, right? Like, say something like that's lasted a long time, like a soap opera, you know, and you got characters that come and go, right? But, you know, at the time, you know, that you're watching, like if you're watching the new episode of The Young and the Restless, you turn it on and if you're know the show, you know, this is a new episode. This is what's going on now. Here's who's on the roster, the cast. And I think back in the day, WWE, like before people knew about, all the inner workings of wrestling, that the territories and people would kind of come and go. It made it feel more like a sport, like these guys are free agents, kind of mercenaries going around to territories, like just putting their flag in the territory, And so I think it would be better to have a more broader roster, like, and have people like a Shayna Baszler, kind of like subcontracted, even like, as kind of part-time talent, like, hey, every couple months we're going to bring you in, but just never.
I think they kind of might be going back that way because they're acquiring AAA, they're acquiring all these, a lot of these.
That's true. That's a big factor.
You see some crossover with NXT and TNA, so they kind of. I don't think it's going to ever be like, you see this guy in NWA, then you see him in UWF, and you see him. I don't think there's going to be that where somebody's just going to go to different companies for 6 months or 8 months or whatever and have a run. I don't think we're going to go that far, but like I said, you see a little bit of cross with Trick Williams going to TNA and doing something for like a week or two, a month or two, and come back.
Yeah, what they used to do, like you're saying, what they used to do was there were so many territories close by. You would rotate every couple of years just so you'd stay fresh. Yeah. You'd wear all your thing out at one place, like in Memphis, and you'd go to Bill Watts territory. Then you'd go to Georgia Wrestling. Then you go to Florida.
Your gimmick. You might do the same gimmick in the same Fed with a different person.
No.
The only reason I say we ain't gonna get it that deep like us, because you can't really disappear and hide out in one territory like you could back then, because everybody's got a camera. Like everybody has a film studio in their pocket right now.
What you have right now is you have like, you don't have a lot of territories, but you got a couple of places where people can go. So like some of them have taken off and ran to AEW, right? Let's talk about Malachi Black for a second. He went there and did his thing, House of Black. It was great. I liked it anyway. The House of Black, gimmick they had going on. And then after a while, they just didn't know what to do with the man. They didn't use him. They wasted the talent of him. Then suddenly he's back on WWF and everybody's crazy about him again. It's good that we have AEW, if anything, for that. Give someone a break off TV for a while from WWE, then bring them back and let the people go crazy over him again. It's not quite like old school like the territories was, but you get a little bit of a feel for that.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, we like I said, the only problem with that is everybody's got a camera, everybody's got a YouTube channel, everybody's got some type of streaming.
We all know who they are when they get there.
So it's not like you can go pretend there's somebody else, and or just like you said, like back in the day, you go work on something and work on something in UWF, and nobody in California would know what was going on in UWF because you were just seeing it in Texas. If you went in Texas or Georgia or somewhere like that, you didn't see it. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what I suggest? I suggest all these people listen to Matt Cardona, who put out like a post today saying, basically addressing all the people who were released. And he said, hey, you can you can either, what do you say? You can either just like sulk or like,
you can live off your WWE name,
or you can live off the WWE like what you did, or you can go out there and you can basically catch the world on fire and fucking find out who you are and have fun. Something along those lines.
And it's already been proven you could do that. Look at Drew McIntyre. Look at all these people that just came back to WWE. Look at
Cody.
Cody. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to go do what Cody did. I mean, that's
that's quite a circle, man.
that's quite a feat. I don't think nobody going out here and starting another company. Go ahead. What did you say?
No, I was going to say, what was his rotation? We had just Cody Rhodes. Then you had Dashing Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, Dashing Cody Rhodes.
Then he goes into Stardust, and then leaves, right? At that point, he goes to Japan, becomes the American Nightmare.
Yeah, he's riding that American Nightmare till the wheels fall.
He finally found what fit him, I guess. Eventually,
That's the
you
thing.
find what makes
That's what brings me back to my original point. Like, you got to have something for
Maybe
somebody
you
to
don't
work
have
with.
it right now. Like, and that's the thing. Maybe it's all about timing, you know. Maybe maybe the people that got released, like pick a Shayna Baszler. Maybe who she is, that's going to be her success. Maybe she's not her right now. Maybe she needs to go
Right
out,
now, that women,
make a story, you know, have a comeback with a compelling like reason for us to like be interested in her, you know, not just because she's.
that women's division right now needs somebody that outside of the Charlottes, the Baileys, the Biancas, the Jades. They need somebody outside the top 5, top 6 women to actually outside the Tiffies and I mean it's top loaded, right?
I'm gonna kind of going on what you're saying, dude, and what we were just talking about. Perfect point, dude. Naomi, dude. I've never been a big fan of Naomi, dude. The glow, all that stuff, dude. I'm going on record right now. Say Naomi, my favorite wrestler, right, female right now. Maybe even one of the most of the guys too, because dude, she's interesting now. She's fucking. I want to know what she's gonna do. She got this crazy look in her eye, like she's been wanting to do this for a long time, dude.
She's kind of batshit crazy right now. Like.
Yeah. And I said, you know, like I said, that's like, you know, how long has Naomi been in WWE, dude? And like, dude, I've never cared for her. I've never been impressed by her. You know, yeah, athleticism, dude. I mean, and all that stuff. But you know, just kind of generic storylines. And then they put her in this, put that caution tape on her, dude. Fucking let her just be a bitch, dude. And the shit she's coming out with is fucking great, dude. It's like the best shit.
I'm loving every bit of it, bro.
I'm Naomi number 1 fan right now, dude.
So what do you want to see more of, right? You want to see more like some like Lyra Valkyries or Zelina Vega. She just won that the U.S. championship for the women.
I think they did that. I mean, they're doing her a favor with that. I mean, all of a sudden
but what I mean is that what you're looking for? Is that what you're saying? You want to see more people about their stature in their company? You want to see more of that, not just the top 6 people.
Yeah. I mean,
step up and do some stuff.
Yeah, step up. I mean, do something. Like, you can't just be sitting around here making TikTok videos in the back and you gonna keep a job making $400,000-$800,000.
Hey, like, you gotta admit though, her TikTok videos are kind of funny though. When she prank calls,
they are
people.
Funny. They are.
I swear when she prank called Dominic Mysterio, I was dying.
What?
You ever heard her prank call to Dom Mysterio? Zelina Vega.
No, I haven't.
Dude,
I will look that up after this.
You have to. She prank calls Dominic and acts like she's a kid ordering takeout for her and her mom, and he didn't know. She
does a good baby voice too. She does a good kid.
Does just like she's like it sounds like, you know, she's holding her nose or something, but she's not. She got this nasally voice going on.
She could voice over a cartoon with that voice. I swear to God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so once something came out, when we were doing the WrestleMania review that you didn't make. I want to get up there. I have not asked you about this. Me and Chris have talked about this, you know, a couple times. They're doing the WWE Unreal. They're doing the WWE Unreal where they you know, supposedly take you in the writer's room and show you how things come, show you how they put things together that you see on TV. Yeah. And there's uproar, backlash, fake outrage, whatever you want to call it. Of people saying, how could they do this? Why would they do this? Why?
For the last couple of years, they've been doing maybe it's a year later or so, but they're doing like the WrestleMania, like, you know, the story behind, you know, Cody Rhodes coming back, or the story behind CM Punk coming back. They've been documenting this stuff for a while now.
But now they're taking you into the creative space where they come up with storylines, supposedly. I guess that's what I didn't hear them actually say that on the advertisement, but I didn't either. People have been saying that they're taking you into we're going into the right.
More like they were going to take them into the kind of the same stuff we saw in Total Divas, dude, when they were shot, you know, talking about, you know, the women's having TV time.
I forgot even about that, bro. I was always bringing people to Beyond the Mat, where it was going backstage.
Yeah.
That's a good example, though. We didn't talk about that at all.
Wrestling with Shadows takes you right into the fucking inner workings of McMahon and fucking.
They're sitting there talking about contracts and shit.
Yeah, How much more? And storylines about who he's going to drop a title to and when and where.
Right. So
that's all pretty much creative.
Where's all this outrage coming from? When there's a whole network of.
It's not like they're going to they're not like the people are going to go, in a hour TV show are going to spill all the beans on all the creative. Yeah. So people are spoiled by it when they,
it's not just
because I saw it on the show.
It's not just fans talking that way either. There's some former wrestlers who are speaking up and talking about how they didn't want the curtain to get pulled back. They forever want to remember it like it was.
Oh, but they're doing podcasts, giving they're shooting about their opinions.
Some of them have podcasts, yes. Some of them don't. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin got quoted.
I want to go back to kayfabe days,
But yeah, Stone Cold
he had a podcast.
He still has it, don't he?
I don't know. He was doing. At first, it was just audio. Then WWE put him on the network, and it did this Broken Skull Sessions. I don't think they've done that in a while. But
and then the most recent one. The most recent one I seen was Bobby Fulton talking about it. He was quoting Steve Austin's. He was putting up Steve Austin's quote, and then following up with it saying, "I'll forever remember it being like it was," before they pulled back the curtain on it.
Like I said, man, I'm calling it fake outrage because we just went all the way back to the late '90s with documentaries of it. I always say Beyond the Mat, right? And Rob just brought up Total Divas. That was behind the scenes, okay? What about all these shoot interviews? Remember all these shoot interviews we used to download the torrents to, so we wouldn't have to pay for them?
Yeah.
They sitting around telling you all this behind it, telling you all these stories and all this other stuff, and telling you, I didn't like this guy. I didn't like this guy. This guy, when we got put in there, I told him I didn't want to work with this guy. What are we doing? Why are we mad now?
Do either one of you regret finding out stuff like that though? Do you sometimes wish that you were still wondering what was real and what wasn't? Did it make it more fun for you?
To be honest, I never thought about it. I never thought about it. Even when I found out, like I said, when I found out what it was and how things were, and I found out, when I was, young. I had an uncle who sat me down and told me how this works, and I've been looking at it as a TV show ever since, and I still love it.
Yeah, I remember the time I remember the moment I found out it was fake. With the moment, my uncle, everyone, my dad, that's some fake shit, But I watch it and it looked fucking real to me. I rented Roddy Piper's Greatest Hits. And fucking in that match where it's Jimmy Snuka and the Tonga Kid versus Piper and Dr. D, and fucking Piper hits him with the brass knuckles, and you can tell it don't even hit him. And then Andre, you can actually see him gigging. You can actually see Andre gigging, and it's like that's. I was like, I'm watching it going. It was like I saw the fucking ace up the sleeve before you started the trick. It was like all of a sudden, it was like, but I fucking loved it so much that I was like, I can accept it. And I just forgot about it. Kind of just but then you'd start every time you kind of look a little closer, You want to know, but you don't want to know. It's like magic tricks. I want to know how you do a magic trick, but then the magic's gone. So it's a pay.
I've seen so many behind the scenes things. We watched. Look, the making of the Thriller video came out, bro, in the 80s. They literally put out a video of the making of Thriller.
Right.
We've been doing
this. But did you believe that there were walking zombies alive in the world when you saw the Thriller video play the first time?
I mean, when Thriller came out, I was still in elementary school.
Hey, wrestling, I think the thing is people are here's what it is. People that don't like WWE or want to be critical of it to be cool, they're gonna jump on this. This is gonna be their fucking like in politics, you pick every week you pick a new reason to fucking plant your flag and bitch. And this is theirs now. And a lot of times that shit don't make sense because like you said, kayfabe. You know, no one broke. Vince McMahon didn't break kayfabe. People break kayfabe. You break, you know, Breaking Bad. There's breaking kayfabe, and that's when you realize it's fake.
That's what I told Chris. I said I think Vince did. The story is Vince did that.
If you don't know wrestling's fake and you've been watching it for 5 or more years, whether you're in the 80s or you're in,
I don't say fake. I still don't say fake. I never say fake. I always say it's scripted.
Yeah,
and
and
people knew that
because they really are taking
real
these hits.
Before McMahon came out, people knew it wasn't real before he came out and made the name change to WWE, and he made that announcement that, you know, we all know wrestling isn't real. We're a scripted thing. We're here for entertainment. We're here to entertain you guys. Therefore, we're changing our name to WWE World Wrestling Entertainment. You know, failed to mention the fact that he was going to be sued by the World Wildlife Federation, or whatever it was called, Foundation, and they had to change the names anyway.
Right.
But then he put that little bit out.
They had to get the F out.
Right. And when he put that little bit out there, a bunch of people jumped on that and claimed, oh, he didn't kill kayfabe because look what he went and did on national television. But everybody who watched wrestling pretty much knew.
Oh, you go back. Go back to Dr. D. David Schultz slapping John Stossel. Yeah, Stossel. You know, slapping him around. There were already people poking around. There was already guys like what was the Smothers guy? Who was the guy that fucking
Mushnick?
Mushnick. Yeah, the guy. The one that fucking like went on a talk show and like told the whole fucking score.
Oh, the one had, and that was where David Schultz was on there with him as well on that show. It was like a Donahue show or something like that.
Yeah, they were Donahue doing that shit, bro. Like,
exactly. It was Donahue. It was. You're right.
The business was being exposed in the mid '80s.
And like I said, if you didn't,
even though it was exposed, there were still people who didn't really care or didn't know for sure. They still questioned because there was just enough of it to make you believe, but just enough of it to make you so mad that it's not real too. You know,
people were still questioning. Prime example,
like
Tiffany and Charlotte.
The Scorpion, dude. The Black Scorpion, dude.
Oh,
you
couldn't have not known that was Ric Flair, dude. Number of the announcers were like, who is this? You know.
But Chris said like people used to question it. People were still questioning it because, like I said, prime example, Charlotte and Tiffany.
Yeah, the whole thing.
People was like, they went off script. They went off this. They went on.
The whole thing with social media today changes everything.
Yeah. People will question wrestling with the reality of wrestling.
The only time they go off script on wrestling on Raw or SmackDown or paper, only time they go off script is like when somebody gets hurt. That's the only time it's out of their control.
Or somebody forgot their lines and they ad-lib it.
Right. And look, the whole thing about the masked wrestler you brought up a while ago who didn't know that was Ric Flair. Tell me one masked wrestler you watched that when someone disappeared and a masked wrestler appeared that you didn't know who it was right away. Honestly.
I didn't know. I still don't know who the damn conquistadors are.
Oh my god!
One of them was Jose Luis Rivera.
I can't even. I remember the name, but I cannot remember what that fucker looks
like. He was a Latino guy, and he was like the nephew of Pedro Morales or something like that. Probably not for real though.
But when you saw somebody disappear with a loser leave town match somewhere, and you saw someone come back in a mask, all right, prime example for me, since I watched the Tiger Rope on Memphis Wrestling. Well, no, Dusty Rhodes is a good one. Midnight Rider. Yeah, the James Gang, or whatever him and Magnum called themselves, James Boys or James Gang. But in Memphis Wrestling,
Giant Machine
loses a match for Loser Leave Town, comes back 2 weeks later with a red mask on. And I think they took the name Texas Red too, just like the Undertaker used when he was there in Texas Wrestling. But who else in the world of wrestling had a mustache like Dutch Mantel?
Nobody.
And it's sticking all out to that mask, and you can tell he's got that same voice. And they never try to mask their voice, right? If they want it to be obvious who they are, the fans all know who it is. And the announcers try to play it off.
You reminded me. You're talking about like deceptions and shit, dude. Like I remember one that was crazy, dude. When like Barry Windham dressed like Sting and fucking like lost a match. Like you guy went in there. It was like Sting, but it was Barry Windham.
I mean, if you couldn't tell it was Barry Windham, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Like they don't look the same at all, bro.
You know,
Well, yeah,
some of the
but in the moment it did. It looked like it was cool.
one of the most fun ones I've seen with masks though was when Tommy Rich was going under a mask and fighting Ted DiBiase for some title he had, and
Like the North
DiBiase was
Atlantic,
Mid Atlantic,
like, yeah,
and he was so mad. DiBiase was so mad he swore he was gonna unmask him when they had this match on TV that day, and instead of Tommy Rich going in, Brad Armstrong went in wearing the mask. All right, he's doing them Brad Armstrong drop kicks. Tommy Rich can't do a drop kick to save his life. Not one that looked that nice anyway. It was obvious it was not Tommy Rich in the ring under the mask. So you know what they're going to do. They're going to pull the mask off. Tommy Rich is going to come out like he does sometime during the match and be out there while DiBiase's fighting the other one. And then eventually, he unmasks and it's Brad Armstrong there. I always thought that was.
I can't believe you guys haven't brought up the one most baffling masked person that I can't figure out who it is.
I know who you're talking about.
El Grande.
Kurt Angle. Come on, it's Kurt Angle trying to work his way back in.
It's not Kurt Angle, bro. Who's been gone for a long time you haven't seen?
It's Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, because Hogan can do a moonsault.
Yes. Brother.
Hulk Hogan, he can't even get up off the toilet good, let alone dive off the top rope. No, who's been gone for a while?
Go ahead, tell us.
I'm trying to. I want to see if you know.
Who I miss? Who I'm thinking of? Who's been gone for a while? Yeah, Leo. Kalisto.
I remember Kalisto. Yeah.
Dude, it's Big E.
Who is Big E?
Wait, hold on. What?
Oh, who is Big E?
El Grande Americano was Big E, bro.
Something looks a little bit off there when you look at him on TV. I can't quite put my finger on it.
If Barry Windham can disguise himself as Sting, pretty sure Big E can be El Grande Americano, bro.
All right. You know what? Whatever points you had for WrestleMania just went to zero. This is like a lifelong Monopoly game.
You literally picked Otis to come out there and do the worm, bro.
That's right.
Yeah, but I got a couple right. I got the Dom. I got Dom winning the IC belt, which is probably the biggest thing that happened one of the biggest things that happened at WrestleMania.
That was a good call. It was.
So we talked about the releases. We talked about this Unreal thing. What do you think about real American wrestling, bro?
Okay, you're going to explain this one to me for a little bit. I want to make sure I understand this correctly. Is it? I saw the word amateur tossed in at one point. Is it amateur wrestling? Is it real wrestling where he said he's looking for people to destroy one another, to put some physical pain on people? What are they making?
Ray knows the truth, but he knows probably whatever the real thing is. Ray knows what it is, so I'll give my opinion on what I think it is. I think because they said they want to be like the UFC or bigger, so I think it's combat sport of some type. It's not going to be supposedly not scripted, and it's going to be some kind of freestyle fighting. So MMA and martial arts.
What this is. So, the college wrestlers and Olympic wrestlers, once they do that, that's it. So now they have a league. That's what this is.
This is Greco.
So it's more like an amateur wrestling kind of thing.
Yeah, they're going to have, I guess it's going to be showed, they're going to make a presentation out of it. It's not going to be, like we watch college wrestling, they just roll a mat out in the middle of the basketball court. They're going to be in arenas. They're going to have a nice little stage or platform or whatever. It's going to be amateur professional wrestling. Remember when UFC? It's like UFC fighting, but with amateur wrestling. and they're gonna give all these guys, characters, and they're gonna give you interviews, and it's gonna be real beefs and all, like
So it's
just
going
like
to be like
UFC.
what?
People talk,
So it's like what?
people talking shit.
It's like pro wrestling if pro wrestling wasn't scripted. Are they going to be able to pull punches? Can they go off?
There's no punches in amateur wrestling, but you can still get hurt. You can still get beat up in amateur wrestling.
But there was no punches in professional wrestling. You know what? I never watched.
What I'm saying is what you're not going to see is somebody standing there and doing this. You're not going to see that.
You're not going to see what?
You're not going to see somebody standing there and doing this. That's not happening.
Oh God. No super kick.
There's no super kicks. There's no clotheslines. There's none of that. Again, think Olympic style wrestling with a big production and UFC packages and characters.
Now, I'm gonna ask you, Ray, as the voice of reason and the man who knows. Is this how is this going to be presented? Is this going to be a network thing, cable thing, or pay? Or do you have to pay to watch it?
As of right now, it's going to be pay to watch it because I don't think they have a television. I mean, it's just been announced. They have a show in July, I believe. The first show.
Then they're not going to make any money except for what they make at the shows because everyone's going to pirate.
They got somebody bankrolling them. They got somebody bankrolling them. And here's the thing, though. I'm not saying this is it's going to blow up, but it's an untapped market because, like
I would love it. They should give it to us for free to see if we fucking really want it.
I believe there's a market for it. There truly is a market for it because look how big the Olympic wrestling is when the Olympics come out.
Oh yeah, I see
look
it.
Look how big college wrestling, the national championships in college is. They on ESPN3, but it's a market. I mean, you're not going to put it on TV and get 500,000 people to buy it or watch it. I'm not saying that. Could they get 100,000? I'm pretty sure they could because it's an untapped market. Could they make money if you put them in a 5,000 seat arena? I bet you they'll sell that shit out.
Chris, it's going to come out and it's going to pass AEW on week 1.
Coming from a guy who doesn't necessarily dislike it.
That would be embarrassing, bro. That would be.
I give you respect.
Come out and do $1 million a month straight. That would be embarrassing to AEW, bro.
I give you due respect, Chris, for keeping it real always.
Yeah, I'm just going to call it now. I mean, I might like a lot of what they got, but I mean,
come on. It's not a lot is stretching it a little bit, right?
I mean, they got quite a lot of talent there that I like that's there if they would just use them correctly. We can have this discussion off air, but it's better than soaking up the rest of the show on it because we've done this over and over again.
Yeah, that sounds like a cop-out, brother.
You don't disappear right away. We'll have a talk about it.
No, I gotta disappear.
No, I mean, I'm going to watch it. If wherever they put it at, I'm going to try to watch it and see what it's about. And I think,
I'm sure we all will.
It's not going to be something. I think people need to temper their expectations and in some cases raise their expectations because there's a lot of people who say this is going to be trash. And if you're not into amateur wrestling or pro, you know what I'm saying, actual Olympic style wrestling, it ain't for you. It ain't going to be for you, right?
Now, Ray, do you think what are the chances? What are the chances of like, okay, it's 100% real? Well, what are the chances?
It's 100%. Again, these are professional
amateur wrestlers or
amateur wrestlers. These are guys who trained for the Olympics, trained, for national championships and.
But there's not going to be like any roller. What was it? The roller show there, where they look like roller derbies. Like people were just going to roll around the racetrack and try to get points, and then they had actually managers like throwing chains and tacks and shit. Marble.
I don't think they're going to.
You don't think there's going to be no gimmick?
Say what you want about Eric Bischoff. I don't think he's going to allow this to be circused up.
Tainted.
I think that they're going to come out and they have to do it right because There's no second chance with this type of thing. You're not gonna fail at this and come back 3 years from now and try it again. You're not gonna
To
do
quote
that.
Eric Bischoff, controversy creates what?
But people, you gotta separate. You gotta separate that from this, because they can't do that. There's no way in the world you're gonna bring anything that happens or ran.
They advertised it like it was doing an NWO parody.
They did it because they got you. They did it to get you
back with the fake beard. He's Hollywood Hogan.
They did it to get your attention. Because if they just came out and said we're gonna do this, nobody would have paid attention to the shit.
And it worked. It worked. Everyone was, I was thinking about it.
In that vein, Chris, yes, controversy. They did it because people were they're gonna start a professional. They're gonna go head away. It's not even what people think it's gonna be. It's gonna be amateur.
Who's the third guy they brought in?
They brought in some guy who's like really linked in with amateur.
He's a coach and a trainer and all that stuff. I think he trained John Jones in wrestling.
I wondered myself, was it Vince? Remember, I gotta shake my head.
And that's what they wanted. I mean, imagine how many clicks those impressions those video got from that.
So I have another question about this new show. Then, when if it's not taken off too well, are they going to try and bribe Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar to come in and
no?
Are we going to see Jack Gable end up there ultimately?
Again, I think they're going to. I think for their sake and for fans' sake, I do not go into this and expecting to see a bunch of old school wrestlers or people who are great amateur wrestlers in WWF and WWE or WCW or whatever. You can't. In my opinion, you want this to do right, and in order for this to go right, you cannot do that. You can't go over there and pull them over here. You
I got a question.
It's not going to work well.
Is it have they disclosed, or is this still yet to be determined? Is it male, and male, or is there going to have a female division?
It's going to have a female division. They already signed a couple of females.
Well, maybe
they signed legit wrestlers. They signed legit wrestlers.
Think about this, dude. Like, they announced this Real American Wrestling, right? Everybody knows every Monday Night Raw you see Real American beer on the ring and Raw. So my suggestion is, does the dismissal of Shayna Baszler or not renewing her contract, could that coincide with a business arrangement with her going All American Freestyle?
I wouldn't say it was a business arrangement, but I would say they probably sat her down and say, hey,
there's something that might be up your alley. You already got a name.
She does MMA, but she did learn grappling, and that's another thing. It's going to be grappling too. So Greco-Roman,
Ronda Rousey.
It's called Real American Freestyle Wrestling. So it's going to be freestyle amateur wrestling. So you're going to get hip throws and all that type.
You're going to get some liberty. You're going to get some liberty.
Yeah, but as far as punches and kicking, there's just. You can't do it.
It's wrestling like you did with your friends. You couldn't punch them in the mouth, but you could fucking twist their arm.
There will be submissions. There will be tap outs. There will be pins. And if they
doing it
like
my elbow
they're gonna do it.
Chins. That was my move.
There's gonna be a ref there. So
if it's gonna be tap outs, are we getting Ronda Rousey come back now? Put that arm bar on people
again for the CSC, and I think that's going to be the problem with this thing. Everybody's going to be expected old or discarded wrestlers to be involved with it.
Well, what was Ronda Rousey before she was a discarded wrestler?
I'm trying to think. I
really don't think they should. I don't think they are, and I don't think they should.
I don't think they should either. I'm just asking what you think.
I'm trying to do just that. I'm trying to do just that. I'm trying to see who in wrestling, past and present, that's relevant would fit into this mold. And there's only a few. There's really only a few.
Once you bring anybody, even with the name of like a Kurt Angle, once you bring anybody like that into this, you discredit what you're trying to do.
What if you bring him in as like a commentator type person?
I wouldn't I wouldn't acknowledge him for. I mean, if you want to bring him in to talk to him and have to do a guest commentator or something like that, fine.
Yeah.
Bring Kurt Angle in. Don't say a damn thing about WWE.
Right, that's what I'm getting at.
Only-
Bring him
only
in for
talk-
that, but
only
just
talk
don't,
about
just
his
don't.
Olympic stuff.
Sanitize, like there's no outside.
I
like,
wouldn't even call it sanitized because again, like I said, if you bring in once you start talking professional
sports
wrestling
entertainment.
on this sports entertainment, you ruin it, bro. You ruin it. Now you've become that. Once
Right.
you start dabbling in it, you've become
You
that.
know, ever since we started this, I'm more excited about it since we started this discussion than I was before.
No, I'm just saying. Look, I'm not sitting here telling you this is going to be the best thing to ever happen and all this stuff.
But it is different.
Sometimes it's different. And if you want to see, freestyle, I'm telling y'all, I only wrestled in high school. But anybody who's wrestled in high school will tell you that shit is some. You have to have stamina. You have to have some strength, and you gotta be able to. You gotta be able to take some pain.
Dude, I'm a big dude, right? And I'm a WWE guy. I never wrestled for competitively. So, dude, I'm a big dude. So I would, even when I was young, I would like throw people around like rag dolls. And I remember one time, dude, Mike Hampton, who went on to become a semi-professional wrestler in my hometown, Mike the Menace Hampton. One day I was doing a demolition move on some kid. Me and my buddy Wade were like pounding this guy. Like his name was Dudley Yerby. We were in 7th grade. He was in 8th grade. And we're like doing double clotheslines on him, dude. Double knee butts, dude. Doing the fucking ground and pound demolition stuff. And Mike Hampton goes, "Larry, wrestle me." And this guy was on the wrestling team. This guy fucking twisted me up like a pretzel, dude. Like I quit.
Dude,
no joke, dude.
The way we got our spots, like to wrestle for, like the meets, or whatever, whoever was the starter for that weight class, you had to wrestle him in practice to take his spot. Once I saw our heavyweight, he literally dislocated the coach's knee from a takedown. All a takedown is, you go in there, you literally taking him down. He dislocated it because when he took him down, he twisted.
You're going to see a lot.
His foot was planted in his mat, and he popped that sumbitch and took him down. I was like,
you're going to see a lot of injuries if this is like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm not sitting here saying this is going to be the best thing on television.
Imagine like fucking having freestyle wrestling, 2 dudes, 2 girls, and you're live on some kind of platform. Dude,
I think it's going to be if they do it like I think they, because they was on what's that channel 7?
Good Morning America or something.
Yeah, they were on that talking about it.
Yeah,
and the way they presented it is like, this is not going to be. You're going to get storylines, or not even scripted storylines, but you're going to get stories because people are just going to be natural. People ain't going to like this person.
Organic storylines. Yes. Because
I want to be number one. Yeah, because like when you go to a wrestling tournament, right? You know who's ranked where. If you've been wrestling for a while, you know who's ranked where, right?
You know who the top dogs are.
Yeah. So you like, I when I come in, I see you 1 through 5. Y'all the top 5. I'm coming for y'all spot. That's organic shit right there. So
heat. That's heat.
Yeah, like what, 3 things they need to do for this to be remotely even good, right? Number 1, no cross pollination with any sports entertainment company, right? Unless you got an actual, like a Kurt Angle, somebody that's come in and actually talk about their amateur wrestling.
Yeah, be totally purist about it.
Number 2, if you're going to use Hulk Hogan, because he's supposed to be the commissioner or some shit. If you're going to use him, he don't need to be in the middle of the ring cutting a fucking promo. He don't need to be what you're going to do and all this.
We got going on tonight.
He's going to do it. You know,
Brothers,
he's gonna be
here
up
we
there
are.
promoting that show just like
I'm-
that.
You could have Eric
I'm
Bischoff
hoping-
out there. You have Eric Bischoff out there. That would be cool.
And that's another thing that they don't need to do. They do not need to come. They don't need to be characters. Be Eric Bischoff, the financial or whatever the matchmaker. Do not be a character, right?
Just
Yeah.
be the regular Eric Bischoff he is on his podcast, the way he
Do-
talks
be,
on
be,
there.
be Eric Bischoff, the guy that's running the business. Not
Not easy.
don't be a character.
Yeah, that's pretty much the best way they can do it. But at some point, Rob, you're gonna see Hogan out there at some point ripping the shirt off, yelling, "What you gonna do?" Or something. He's gonna pull one of that stunts. He's gonna be promoting his beer on there.
And
Probably.
if-
Some of
and
the
if you-
guys some of the dumb fucks like me are gonna be. I remember when I was 12 years old. Take my fucking money, brother.
I'm just if he come once he does the Hulk Hogan stick, that's the nail in the coffin, bro.
That's the tank. That's when it
That's
tanks.
the nail in the coffin. Because like I said, you can only try this once. You only got one shot.
Yeah.
You can't fail at this and come back 3 years later and try this again. See XFL, see USFL, see all that shit.
Ooh,
Once they fail, you
XFL.
can't.
he went there. He went to XFL.
Yeah, once you fail,
What about the WBF?
are you talking about the World Bodybuilding? Yeah,
Yeah.
again, once that shit fails, bro, it's a wrap. You can't come back and do that shit again.
Well,
You can't sell it off, and it's it. One shot, one kill. That's it.
So
Well,
I'm
fellas,
just wondering. I mean, it sounds like maybe we've reached a point with the new show coming out. I have to ask you a question though, because Rob wasn't here last week. We said many times. We keep throwing out there how he bailed on us at the last minute.
Dude, I was fucking. I don't know what. It's kind of funny, dude. I was real sick. I felt like I was gonna die, and then a week later, my wife gets COVID. It's just weird how things work.
Right.
maybe you had COVID.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe,
saying,
maybe
dude,
you did. Maybe you
and I had
did.
it for
And
24
then-
hours or
And then I should
something.
feel bad for the reason I said you went to the doctor for, but that I don't.
What is
I'm
so-
definitely not
so-
repeating that.
So I'm gonna
Well,
You
say
got a promo on your ass, brother?
I'm just
Most
curious.
definitely
So
not
she
repeat.
wasn't here last week, Rob. What do you think about his about Mr. KS here and his large disagreement with the Dave LaGreca?
What was the disagreement about?
Well, Dave LaGreca is very vocal, very adamant that The Rock should have been at WrestleMania to complete the story and stuff like that. And he's been very vocal to
Well,
the
yeah.
point to where
Well,
it
he's
almost sounds like he's a crybaby in a way. And
I
I'm not
don't-
calling him a crybaby.
He is a
because I
crybaby.
can kind of
Exactly.
I can kind of appreciate his work a little bit here, but Mr. KS, Mr.
I
KS
know
here,
KS.
it
I
says-
know KS. I know you. I know I'm the icon of all entertainment. I don't know who you're talking about, but he's a dumb fuck.
Who's a dumb
Dude,
fuck?
I was just saying, to finish the story. Well, the story's not over
LaGreca.
yet.
He's calling LaGreca that.
Oh,
Well, I
yeah.
Basically,
story's
he's
not over yet.
insisting.
So
Basically, he's insisting.
How could The Rock showing up at WrestleMania to finish the story that isn't finished yet?
So
even
maybe
be
not
an
to
argument?
finish the story, but he's insisting, like some of the fans are. He's insisting that he should have been there. That it was
No.
like required
No.
for him to be there.
No. That is
No.
that is knowing when
What's up,
knowing
Sophie?
when to not oversaturate something. Next time The Rock shows up, it's going to be an event. He shows
So-
up every week, or he shows up on certain. Oh, it's WrestleMania. The Rock has to be there. He don't show up. When he shows up, it's only going to be bigger, dude. That's pace.
So look, the
First
reason
of
why I
all-
bring it up is Mr. KS here. The reason why I bring it up is because did you see what Bully Ray's new thing he dropped on it is about how the story should have went at WrestleMania?
I didn't hear
That's
it.
his. That's. His,
I know
that's
you've
his
heard it. You
opinion.
listened to the show. How he
That's his
said that.
opinion. I don't. Here's my thing.
I ain't
folks,
saying
and
he's
this is-
right. I'm not saying he's
This
right.
this is the problem with wrestling fans, people who listen to these people who do podcasts. Look, I don't give a damn that you're in the wrestling business. That's fine. More respect to you. But just because you were in the wrestling business, just because you were great at wrestling and achieved so much, does not mean the way something you thought should go is the right way.
Especially when you have no idea, unless
Doesn't
you're in the
mean
inside room and know where the.
you're not
If
even
you go,
you're not even
I know
in the
how
company.
I know how this is going to end, so I can say it's bullshit. But when you're in the halfway through a book and you're like, I don't think this is right. You're
So,
just
Rob,
being a fucking bitch.
look, Rob, they think like some of the fans do that. What was the guy's name? Travis Scott. Travis,
The rapper dude. Yeah.
the rapper dude. The rapper dude come down there and got involved in the match, right? They're saying he should have been nowhere near around it. He shouldn't have been involved coming down there. And he said
Why?
that what
You know
should have
why?
happened.
Because you're a mark then, because you're pissed off because of something they did that pissed you off, and they did what they were supposed to do.
What he said, what he thought they should have done is that instead of him coming out there, it should look like Cody was about to win. He's getting the upper hand on Cena and he's about to get the victory. Then the Rock's music kicks in. And it distracts Cody long enough for Cena to hit him with, I guess, the belt or something. And then 1, 2, 3. There you go in the match. And then it would be like,
you still don't get the Rock.
right, but then it's like this. It looks like the Rock's involved, but he doesn't show up. They say then on Monday Night Raw.
This guy's like he's a fantasy booking.
He's fantasy booking. What it is.
Go get on 2K69, bro.
He's got the Rock coming in on Monday Night Raw doing a promo. Yeah, he is the Rock on Monday Night Raw doing a promo on Cody, telling him how he can mess with him from anywhere, any place he wants to.
You know what, dude?
He didn't have to be there to mess him up. He just had someone cue his music, and it messed him all up. And now he's gonna really steal his soul or something. It was really ridiculous. As much as I like what Bully Ray says, sometimes I laughed at it.
Here's the thing: some of these wrestlers think because I was in the business, every idea I have is a good one. Listen to me. Some of these people, some of these podcasters, wrestlers.
Bully Ray was never a WWE World Champion. What?
Well, neither was the Brooklyn Brawler, but he may step up and tell you what he thinks needs to be done too.
That's fine.
Don't come to me and think because that's like me, right? I worked at Walmart, right? I was a manager.
Me too.
Now, picture me leaving my store, going to another store, and just walking in and be like, you know what? I don't like the way this day went. Let me come back tomorrow and show you how this day was supposed to go, because the way I thought it was supposed to go. Now I don't know nothing about
work at Walmart to do that.
It's
anyway?
Arbitrary. It's pointless. It's like second guessing the news. Like, I wish it would have went this way yesterday. I wish something hadn't happened, but it did. That's just
armchair quarterback.
Bitch. Let me tell you why my idea was better than a company that's selling out the arenas idea. Let me tell you why my idea is better than theirs.
Yeah, go get a job with WWE
here's the thing with the whole Travis Scott thing. And this is why I wouldn't want some of these people running my company, no matter if it was a wrestling company, a chicken shack company, a shaky booty company. I wouldn't want some of these motherfuckers running my company. And here's why. Travis Scott has more followers on social media than all of WWE.
Yep.
And I still don't know
exactly. So whatever that fucker does, you got automatically 5 to 10 million people paying attention to
it. Yeah, here's how I'm gonna leave. Here's how I'm gonna leave.
Why would you not? What people say? Oh, it's WWE. They got all the exposure in the world.
Here's how I'm gonna leave.
I want the whole world watching.
Here's how I'm leaving this conversation. All the people that are saying this kind of stupidity are the same people who at WrestleMania 40 were saying, oh, Cody should have won that title. And then we wouldn't have had this whole year of drama of what we had. We wouldn't have this storyline that's going on now. If Cody had just won. He shouldn't have won. He could have won. It would have worked. They could have made it work if he won, but he didn't win, and that compelled the whole story for the next year. That's what this is all about. The story.
How about the ones that said, "Oh, Cody's run was stale"? I mean, all you heard the last 3 months before WrestleMania. Cody hasn't
every match he was on.
And that he said that, and now that they said his run was dying off and he lost the title. Now it's why Cody ain't get his rematch. We don't look. We get
So-
look. Fans and professionals of wrestling, listen. I'm going to tell you something that's going to ease your pain. It's going to, soothe your butthole a little bit and stop having such a red ass. Okay. Things don't have to be done the way they used to be done to work, for the company to work. We don't have to do the same thing we did in the 90s. Guess what? Sometimes change is good. We used to have back in the day, you lost at WrestleMania, you get your rematch the next night. For what? So you can lose again?
See the same
That's
match you
what
saw on WrestleMania?
it's the same. We're gonna have the same. So why did I need to watch WrestleMania if they're gonna have the same match again? Why do I need to? Why do I? What? So you can't keep doing the same thing you
You know what?
did.
You just said something that made me think. I want another question. I want to ask Rob. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you. So Cena is facing Orton at Backlash title defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember one of the last times that Cena and Orton got together in a title match when Orton was the champion? What Orton did to retain the belt? He turned around and smacked the referee. Just smacked him straight down, and the referee gets him, disqualifies him, right? Would it not be justice and some long-term storytelling to see them repeat that at Backlash this year and have John Cena turn around, just clock the referee real hard and get disqualified?
Everybody goes home and bitches and says, "Where was the Rock? Rock should have been there."
If we had the so-called experts online with us right now, they would tell me I'm wrong and John Cena's going to lose the belt in the next 3 months. Bullshit.
He's going to keep it till he's probably going to take off with it and leave.
I'm going to tell you exactly what's. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen.
Tell me, I need to hear this.
John Cena's going to take that belt. He's going to go home with that belt. We will never see that belt again.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what's going to happen? They're going to create it. And I told you that. I told Chris this before. They're going to create a new belt. And you know what that belt's going to look like? It's going to be another version of the Winged Eagle belt. Because Triple H's favorite belt was Big Winged Eagle. That was his belt. And they already redid the World Heavyweight Champion. All they did, the big gold belt with the one Ric Flair had, all they did was put a WWE logo on the middle of it.
Yeah, made it. But if you look at that belt, they did a lot of fucking little
things,
symbolism to celebrate WWE's history. But it's basically the same belt when you look at it aesthetically.
And think about it, Rob. Well, what's the whole thing that they're basing John Cena's final run on? John Cena says he's here to ruin wrestling, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's going to ruin wrestling. He'll do everything he can until the end of it to cheat, keep that belt and everything, and then leave with it. And that's his idea, I guess, of ruining wrestling on his way out the door. The ultimate babyface ran out of the company as a heel and took the belt with him.
I know people saying John Cena is going to turn babyface again, and he's going to turn babyface and lose.
I would rather have I'd rather have Chris's ending because I think that would just be brutal. But I'm going with Ray, dude. Cena doesn't leave without loving the fans again.
I don't think he turns babyface.
John Cena's going. He's taking that belt. He's going home.
He's going to do the right thing at some point in time.
Nope.
Somebody else was saying today that they think the ultimate thing to happen at the end, his very last thing, is that he faces Seth Rollins going out the door. That his last match, and they repeat the finger poke of doom, and Seth Rollins gets the belt. But I don't think it's going to happen. Like I said, I think, like Ray said, I think he takes off with the belt.
You're gonna see Instagram posts of John Cena with that belt on his mantle over his fireplace, guaranteed. With the caption "Last Real Champion." That's what you're gonna see. And you heard it here first on Front Row Wrestling Podcast. So yeah,
my catchphrase is "It's a great time, probably the best time." Well, maybe not the best time, but it's a pretty damn good time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah. I mean, we might not be in the business, but I think we know our business.
Damn, Chris, you just made the show logo. I mean, the show motto.
Thank you.
We may not be in business, but we know
be sure to make a graphic for that and run it across the bottom from now on. All right, that's what we want.
No, good talking tonight,
I
guys. You got me thought. You got me thinking. You got me thinking.
I'm gonna go now because my eyes are this pollen is, dude. I fucking hate pollen. I've been struggling this whole fucking show with eye drops, and I done took like 2 allergy pills. It's pollen.
Oh, Rob's got the glasses on. Hold on. Let me get my glasses back out. Hold on.
Jesus Christ. On this note, Front Row Wrestling Podcast. I am Mr. KS. That is Chris. That is Robbie Cutthroat.
I'll cut a promo on your ass, Chris.
The Discord link is in the description.
For a minute.
The Facebook link is in the description. You may follow us on Facebook, Discord.
Discord. Hit that Discord.
Please hit the Discord. We have good. We might. Are we doing Backlash in Discord?
We can.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll be there for it if you do.
We'll set that up. Backlash in Discord. Yeah. Front Row Wrestling Podcast. We out.